Good morning and welcome to Friday edition of Press Talk on Television Nigeria. Hello, good morning and welcome to this Friday on Press Talk on Television Nigeria. As you know, on Press Talk we discuss and analyze, dissect topical issues that made headlines and are still trending in the media. We engage journalists who give us precise and in-depth analysis of news, events with their impacts and implications as it affects our society. I am your host, Ade Dela, and with me today is Dan Atai. Dan Atai is our in-house journalist and columnist. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Ade.
So today, in the headlines, as you know, we have a lot of topical issues to discuss, but first and foremost, this striking one about Army insisting on Operation Identify Yourself. They insist that this operation must go on. What exactly is your take? What is the Army trying to drive at? Is it that the Army now has this overload on people? Because this is democracy, the last time I checked.
Yeah, and I myself, thanks for that question. I'm actually very confused as of day before yesterday. That was Wednesday. The Army debunked the news. That is Wednesday 29th or 30th? 30th. Army debunked the news that they were not carrying out OPI against citizens, that they were trying to use it against some Boko Haram insurgents. And of course that very day, the House of Representatives, the Nigerian House of Representatives, they sat and they issued out a resolution. They came to a resolution that the Army should stop that operation, positive identification against Nigerians, and that they should go into the forest where Boko Harams are and fight Boko Harams instead of intimidating
Nigerians
living
Nigerians that are on the street.
Citizens who are moving freely and doing business. And I don't know. I still, though in security matters, not everything could actually be opened. But I still want to believe that the Army, they are up to something they don't want to tell us in the open, and it has to end on their security desk as a matter of national security. It's not everything of course the FBI will reveal to people. It's not everything the Army can reveal to you. So if they insist they are going into the OPI, we'll have to watch how they want to start the OPI. This is a democracy, like you said, and the people have the right to protest. If they are going against human rights and they are going against normal norms of civility.
No, but the citizens already did. Is it that they want something more? Because they went to National Assembly.
The term OPI itself is not a bad idea. The idea is not a bad idea. Where it could be termed bad is if people are not given the ample time to, harmonize their digital identification, like I said. There's nothing bad for security operatives to ask you, who are you? Where are you going? Let's see your ID card. Nothing bad about that. You understand? What is bad is when they themselves do not have the machines to prove that this
the validity of the cards.
Your identification is valid.
Okay.
You understand? And they want to force you out of your car and said, who gave you this? You don't need to ask me who gave me this. If my identity card is valid and of biometric one, because it's a valid identity card, and valid identity card that we have in the country now are: 1, the national identity card; 2, the driver's license; 3, the international passport; 4, the voter's card. So these are the 4 major valid means of identifying Nigerian citizens. So if I have any of these on me and I present it to you, whether it has expired or not, you don't have to bother me. I have identified myself as a Nigerian. The onus is on me now or in any other commission for me to go and either update it or harmonize it or whatever. If I have identified myself, you want to prove, bring out your system.
Is the validity now the problem?
Yeah, the validity is the problem, because for you to be captured, for you to be a legitimate citizen, of course, your biometric must come out in different. Even your ATM card can bring your biometric data, not probably the card itself. Your bank, it is linked to your BVN, because through BVN you have your fingerprint too.
Mr. Dan,
biometrism is anything that has to do
with your
fingerprint.
Okay. Let me quickly chip this. What do you think is actually the problem of circulating ID cards in this country? The national ID card.
Of the circulating it?
Yes.
Why people have not gotten
national ID card? I know a whole lot of people that applied and they have not gotten it. They give them a little slip and all of that, but it never comes.
I think we have overflogged that issue.
What exactly?
For more than 5 years, we have overflogged that issue, and it boils down to ineptitude, laxity, and corruption, if you ask me. In the civil society, among those who are actually responsible, the commission, that is the National Identification Management Commission, there are various chapters at state levels and local government levels too. If you go to the local government, they will even ask you, come and buy fuel for us. There is no light. There's no power to on the system, and people are on queue, and they'll tell you they've not even gotten some of these already made ones from the state capital. I tell you, please come back the next day, or come back in a week time.
I don't want you to talk about what happens in those places.
Yeah, no, these are factors, and yes, we must eliminate.
What could be done? What are those things?
It's not as if we don't. It's not as if the government don't know what to do.
Okay.
The government has always come out with measures. Like we always say, government is not a kid. Leaders go there to lead, and there are blueprints of leadership for you to follow. It is the willingness to have a commission overseeing this team, monitoring and evaluation team. Like I always say, it is the major problem of this country, and sometimes even the monitoring and evaluation team tends to be corrupt. You understand? Okay, how could you ask a citizen, for instance, to get you fuel in order to power your generator, to on your computer, as an agent? The suspect is detained behind the bar, behind the counter. You are the one to take charge of whatever he eats there and so on. So it's a country that we have found ourselves, and these things can be changed.
Let's just hope that these things will be checked. I don't have any problem with the army coming to say they want to do Operation Identify Yourself. But the issue is that Nigerians are going to be harassed because most of them don't have these valid ID cards and all of that.
And trust Nigerians, most of them are very temperamental.
Yes.
And the situation of the country now, the economic hardship where we are diversificating, and the people are like trying to meet up the societal needs, family needs, and so on, and any embarrassment now is tantamount to something else. You understand?
Thank you, Mr. Dan. So, secondly, on our item today, we already see about the army stuff. Afenifere coming out to say that this is dictatorship for Nigeria, and then also Falana dragging the army to court and all of that. About that, identify yourself and
the OPI.
OPI. But on the other side,
Falana has just taken the army to court.
It's in the headlines.
That is a good one. That is why I said the civil society
yes,
could protest.
well-meaning Nigerians and
well-meaning
civil
Nigerians
could take
protest
up this.
if they have seen that it is not in consonant with democracy or democratic etiquette, or if it is not in consonant with, or in commiseration with the provisions before now. If the government had no provision
all this
to aid in this, and they just come out to that they want to do this, you know, they have to put on ground commensurate measures. Like I said, data bank must be available with them, or system must be available with them, and no harassment. They have to respect the rule of law and respect the human right, and so on, and it could be done legitimately. Of course, you know that our roads, again, if it is on the highway, the roads are not motorable, and they could cause traffic jams. So they should put all those things into, you know, cognizance before.
Let's quickly move on.
They begin.
Let's quickly move on. Thank you, Dan. Now, in Kano State, death penalty for kidnappers. Ganduje, you see the governor trying to move that motion to the Senate to allow death penalty for kidnappers. Is this strong enough, or is this just water under the carpet?
If the state implement it, I think I would even say death penalty for kidnappers is a welcome idea, because you have no reason whatsoever to kidnap people.
Yes, because
but it is still against international norm and practices, because we are a member nation of the United Nations. Even sentencing someone to not life imprisonment, to death by either letter or hanging, is still against the United Nations norm. However, if it is the only stringent measure that could curtail this issue of kidnapping and banditry, it is welcome, because the lawlessness from the angle of kidnappers, it has become a worrisome situation in the country. Apart from that, Ganduje should also look into life imprisonment for those who steal our money from the treasury. It is not only kidnappers. Whether you kidnap and you demand for ransom and you steal public fund, they are all the same. Stealing is stealing. So if you steal by the pen,
they are both inhuman,
and you steal by the gun, both of them are stealing. There should be, you know.
But why are they pressing death penalties for kidnappers? Why not for corrupt?
Even for corrupt officials and public servants and civil servants, it is also good. If we have death penalty like in the case of China, I don't think corruption will still be staring at us at the face. You understand?
Do you see that being implemented in Nigeria anytime soon?
I don't see it coming, because anytime soon, except the generation of leadership is changed. Perhaps when people like I and you get there, if we are able to get there, we can change things for our generation, because the older generation, they are used to corruption. They have soiled their hands.
Would you put it that way, that they are used to corruption?
They are used to corruption, because you have policies. You have several policies against. Thank God this administration is even trying. The EFCC, they are trying. I don't understand very much the ICPC and other private agencies like the SERAP that are coming up. The NIFIU that they have just brought now, I don't know whether they are still watching and waiting for certain things to happen before they begin their own function. So I see the society being in a cyclical arrangement of corruption, even though the policies have been in place. People that are supposed to oversee the policies, to drive in the policies, they are also engulfed or entangled one way or the other with corruption, even in our judiciary. So you can see it everywhere. Unnecessarily delaying of cases where there are evidence and so on is part of corruption to me. It's denial of justice. You understand? So a lot of things A lot of things need to be done
No, but in that case,
this country.
It's not pure denial of justice. It might be delayed. Justice could be delayed.
Justice delayed is justice denial. Because if you sentence me, for instance, to 10 years imprisonment, or you put me in a waiting trial for 10 years, it's justice delayed. A waiting trial.
And eventually the person
you are not out.
Sentenced.
They have not sentenced you. They have not done anything. So you are just there languishing in jail. Is justice denial.
Oh, I hope the death penalty thing for kidnappers in Kano State and in Nigeria will hold water, because this threat of kidnappers is become, people are not doing it.
Like I said, kidnappers,
corrupt officers,
corrupt public and civil servants, because corruption kills faster. It is corruption that left our roads like this. The situation of the bad roads that we have. If you calculate the billions that have been allocated into infrastructural development in the country, is enough. It's more than what the army are using to fighting the insurgents and terrorism. You understand? So if you look at the Terrorism Act from our civil society, our agencies and ministries and departments, is more than what the army are fighting right now. If you judge what have been invested into both arms,
thank you,
and
Dan.
compare them.
Thank you, Dan. Moving on to the next thing. The next item here is the Kogi Bayelsa polls. INEC said they are going to transmit the results manually, not electronically this time around, so that there will be no controversy. Is that the way? Is that the way forward, or are we moving forward?
Anyway,
or we are retrogressing?
Electronically, as how were they transmitting electronically before?
But you know, recently,
is it about the card reader?
We had a lot of arguments coming from the tribunal article saying that there was a server and that the results were transmitted electronically. They should bring down the server and all of that. So is that why INEC quickly came out now to say that we are not going to transmit this result electronically, so that nobody will go there and wait? Everything is manual. Please, brother, I need your take on this.
You see why I'm laughing? You see, we want a very nice society, like this analyst will say that.
But we are not ready to do what it takes.
Yes, what it takes. You see politicians going to give people money to induce them to buy votes and so on, and to be voted for, whether you perform or you don't perform. They just bring billions and then buy you off, and people, the same people who are complaining now, the electorate, are the same people that will collect money, 500 naira, 1,000, or 1 million, 2 million, and
no matter how much,
and sell their votes. So long as you keep selling votes, election perhaps might continue to be transmitted manually. And
so that you will not collect something and go home and go and do something.
And again, on the other hand, so long as you could hack the servers with your money, either you go to Dubai and hack the server, or you go to US and hack the server, or Russia and hack the server, election will continue to be transmitted manually. But we have to grow out of this. We have to grow.
Let me ask
beyond this.
Let me ask you, Mr. Dan, what exactly does free and fair election means to you? You know, you have the experience. What does free and fair election mean?
Because I don't feel like because this is a serious case.
This is a serious case.
Bayelsa, these are two states.
We all know what is going to play out.
Of course,
in these elections,
the battle of supremacy of party and the battle of governance at a state. I just don't want to say much, because if you want re-election, it's as easy as ABCD. Your first tenure should determine whether you deserve to be re-elected. Your performance, if you have given dividends of democracy to your people, let's not shy away.
But the actions of some of these governors have proven that it's not like that. Some of them claim that they inherit some problems, and they cannot just begin to work like that.
No amount of problem whatsoever that you inherited that should stop you from shining when you are in charge. Governance takes vision, a visionary leader, to enthrone governance for the people. Look at someone like Makinde, regardless of party, what he's doing for his people. I get what I'm saying? And if you want to deliver dividends of democracy to your people, you must move ahead of politics. What do I mean by moving ahead of politics? Politics entails party bureaucracy or partisanship. You understand? And governance entails that the entire people you represent
be carried along.
Irrespective of their party affiliation or their religious affiliation or their affiliation of anything, traditional affiliation. We must eschew the idea of nepotism. This is my brother, he has to be there. This is my sister from my clan. You see, it's outplaying in our nascent democracy, and it may lead us to a serious issue in the nearest future if it is not dealt with. Remember, like I used to say, it happened in the US 85 years after their independence. It led them to war, civil war, that some states will want to stay on their own. And the issue of this majority must carry the vote. Okay, a minority have the power now, instead of minority to shine with the power by proving that yes, you could lead better. You jettison the idea of governance, and then you are looking for how Mr. President will put you on power. Well, if the president wants to stand firm, like he said, I am for everybody, I am for nobody, he should stay away from party politics and govern Nigerians. And if the Kogites and the Bayelsans see reasons to continue with the government they have, they can continue. If they see reasons not to continue, it is left for them. They have the card to vote, and they are, eligible voters. I will not decide for them. But what I will decide is pure democracy. Democracy that have respect for dividends, providence of dividends, that enthrones governance across boards, across party lines, across ethnic lines, across traditional lines, across religious lines. This is what democracy entails. The freedom to live and let's live. The freedom and the right to have basic amenities and infrastructural development, because there must be oversight. An independent state assembly, an independent judiciary. Unless I see those things, I will say we will still continue to learn.
Have we actually had a situation, any political party at all, from inception, that actually practiced democracy like this?
In Nigeria?
Yes.
Not yet. Not yet, but we have personalities.
What could be the cause of this? Is it that people...
We're in the vision of your party, the blueprint and mandate of your party. The party have manifestos. It's like, this is the document, the working document through which we must follow. And it is well spelled out. They are well spelled out in both APC and PDP and the parties that you have. But mediocrity will not allow people to follow this thing. If as a party man, I and you, we are in APC now, if you are better than me, instead of me to support you and make the party endorse you, probably the party endorse you, I'll just get angry and go to another party. Am I idealistic in my thinking?
Well, no, that is it.
And if your opponent brings a better candidate, a sellable candidate, let's say a sellable candidate is in PDP, you don't dare, as a party man in APC, you don't dare go to support that person.
Now, this is it. Why do people cross carpet like that? Because I believe that it's because the ideas...
So our party ideology must be broken down. That monopoly must have to be destroyed so that we institute what we call independent candidate.
What if the individual ideas that they have is not supported by the general idea the party has?
That is what I'm telling you. They'll tell you are playing anti-party.
Then they can pull out.
They'll tell you are playing anti-party. And what is anti-party? To me, anti-party should just be defined simply as someone who is not following the manifesto of the party. And what is the manifesto of the party? Manifesto of the party entails the positive change and dividends the party have and ideas differently from what is originally happening. Positive. Mind the word positive. Positive ideas. Positive visions that you want to give to the people as dividends. Providence of dividends of democracy. You understand? And if you are not following, for instance, a leader whom you gave first 4 years did not perform and only ends up bringing money for party men to share, and the party expect that same man to go back because he's giving them money to share at the party level. What happens to infrastructure at the ward level, at the unit level, at the local government level? What happens to dividends of democracy? Pipe-borne waters, good roads, free education. We are seeing governors doing those things. We are seeing local government chairmen doing those things. In some climes, what is difficult about those things? So if a man refuses as a leader to give his people dividends of democracy, under democracy, I'll work against such person, whether you are in my party or not, because I will look at it as I am the one keeping the party blueprint, party manifesto. I'm the one obeying it. You are not obeying it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dan. It's always nice to have you on Press Talk.
Thank you very much.
Viewer out there, thank you so much. That is all we'll be able to take for today in Press Talk. Hope to see you next week, Monday, for another episode of this wonderful Press Talk. I remain Ade Dela. See you next week.